You wake up tired, not the kind of tired that a good night's sleep fixes, the kind that's just there when you open your eyes. Your energy isn't what it was, your drive isn't what it was, and if you're honest with yourself, your performance in the bedroom isn't what it was either. Most men chalk it up to age and move on. But what if it wasn't age? What if it was something far more specific and far more fixable than that? There are two ingredients you can combine in under 60 seconds every morning that directly open your blood vessels, restore circulation, and start working within hours of the very first dose. No complicated preparation, no bad taste. Just two things: a small glass and a body that responds faster than you'd expect. I'm Dr. Aria Brooks, urologist and men's intimacy coach. And in my years of working with men over 50, one pattern shows up more than any other. Men come in feeling like they've lost something. Energy that used to be automatic now has to be forced. Confidence that used to be effortless now carries a quiet undercurrent of doubt. And most of them have spent months, sometimes years, assuming it's just what getting older feels like. Almost every time, the root cause is the same thing. Blood isn't getting where it needs to go, not because something is broken beyond repair, but because the system that controls circulation has quietly been losing ground. And nobody told them how to get it back. Today, I'm going to show you two ingredients that address that problem directly, each through a completely different mechanism, and together create a morning habit that is one of the simplest, most enjoyable things a man over 50 can do for his health. I'll walk you through exactly how to prepare it, what to look for when buying, and what to expect when you start. Drop a comment before we dive in. How old are you and where in the world are you watching from?
Before the ingredient, one thing you need to understand, because it makes everything else click. Your blood vessels are not passive tubes. They are active, living tissue that constantly responds to signals your body sends them. The most important of those signals is a molecule called nitric oxide. When nitric oxide is released inside your arteries, the smooth muscle surrounding them relaxes, the vessel widens, and blood flows freely to wherever it's needed. When you're young, your body generates this signal easily and consistently. But after 50, the inner lining of your blood vessels, called the endothelium, gradually loses its ability to produce nitric oxide efficiently. At the same time, an enzyme called PDE5 becomes more aggressive at breaking down the downstream relaxation signal before your blood vessels can fully respond. Less signal being made on one side, more of it being destroyed on the other. The result is vessels that stay tighter, blood that moves sluggishly, and tissues that don't receive the oxygen and nutrients they need. That shows up as fatigue, brain fog, slower recovery, weaker erections. Not because you're falling apart, but because your circulation has been quietly running on less and less for years. Think of it like a garden hose that's half kinked and has a small hole in it at the same time. Less water getting pumped in, and what does get through leaks out before it reaches the plants. That's your circulation after 50. And that's exactly what these two ingredients fix. One unkinks the hose, the other patches the hole. The first ingredient is fresh watermelon juice. Most men think of watermelon as a summer snack. What it actually contains is one of the most effective natural precursors to nitric oxide that exists. Watermelon is exceptionally rich in an amino acid called citrulline, the raw material your body uses to produce arginine, which then directly fuels your endothelium's nitric oxide production. Think of it as delivering fresh supplies to a factory that has been running low on raw materials. When citrulline arrives in adequate amounts, the production line speeds back up. More nitric oxide gets made, more vessels relax, more blood gets through. What makes citrulline particularly valuable is the way it's absorbed. When you take arginine directly, most of it gets broken down in the digestive system before it ever reaches the bloodstream. Citrulline takes a different route, bypassing that breakdown almost entirely, converting to arginine in the kidneys, and delivering a sustained supply to the endothelium over several hours. Research has shown that citrulline actually raises blood arginine levels more effectively than arginine itself. Studies on watermelon and citrulline have documented reductions in blood pressure, improved arterial flexibility, and enhanced blood flow, including to the pelvic region. One study found that men supplementing with citrulline reported meaningful improvements in erectile function, not through any artificial mechanism, simply by giving the endothelium what it needs to do, the job it was always designed to do. Watermelon juice is restocking the shelves of your nitric oxide factory. Your body has the equipment. It just ran low on raw materials. Citrulline brings them back. I had a patient, 58 years old, came to me frustrated and honestly a little defeated, who started this habit on a Monday. By Thursday of the same week, he sent a message to my office saying he'd woken up with more energy than he'd had in 2 years. Not dramatic, not overnight, just a quiet, unmistakable shift that told him something had changed. That's what restoring the raw material does. It doesn't force anything. It just reminds your body how to do what it already knows. When it comes to making this, fresh is always the way to go. Blend 2 to 3 cups of seedless watermelon flesh and strain it lightly. You'll get a naturally sweet, beautifully colored juice that genuinely tastes like summer in a glass. Around 300 to 400 milliliters gives you a meaningful citrulline dose. And here's something worth knowing. The white rind actually contains even higher concentrations of citrulline than the flesh itself. If you have a powerful blender, throw a small amount of it in with the fruit. You won't taste it at all once it's blended. If fresh watermelon isn't practical every single morning, a high-quality cold-pressed watermelon juice with no added ingredients works perfectly well as a backup. Now, before I get into the second ingredient, this one is the part most men find surprising, because it targets something watermelon juice completely misses. But first, a lot of men ask me after videos like this whether there are more combinations like this they can use every day, so I put them all together in one place. It's called the All-in-One Men's Vitality and Intimacy Blueprint. Simple habits and recipes, just like today's, designed specifically for blood flow, energy, and performance after 50. Link is in the description and pinned comment. Now, let's talk about what makes this second ingredient so powerful. The second ingredient is a ginger and raw honey blend, and I want to present them together because they genuinely work as a pair, both in terms of what they do in your body and how they taste combined with the watermelon. Watermelon juice increases nitric oxide production by supplying citrulline to the endothelium. But there's a separate dimension of circulation that citrulline doesn't address: the quality and fluidity of the blood itself, and the inflammatory state of the vessel walls it moves through. That's exactly where ginger comes in. Ginger contains active compounds called gingerols and shogaols that work on both of these things simultaneously. They reduce platelet aggregation, the tendency of blood cells to clump together more than they should. When blood cells clump excessively, blood becomes viscous and sluggish, especially through the smallest capillaries that feed erectile tissue, deep muscle, and vital organs. These are always the first vessels to suffer, and they're the ones that matter most. Gingerols also directly calm the chronic low-level inflammation inside arterial walls that quietly damages the endothelium over years. By reducing that inflammation, ginger preserves and restores the very tissue that watermelon juice is trying to reactivate. And on top of that, ginger's thermogenic effect gently raises core temperature, triggering a completely separate, heat-driven mechanism that redistributes blood flow across the body. Watermelon juice opens the vessels. Ginger makes sure the blood actually moves freely through them and protects the walls from the inflammation that would otherwise narrow them again. Raw honey then completes the pairing, and not just for flavor. Raw, unprocessed honey contains enzymes and antioxidants that support nitric oxide activity, reduce oxidative stress in the vessel lining, and have a meaningful anti-inflammatory effect on the cardiovascular system. Unlike refined sugar, raw honey has a lower glycemic impact and doesn't trigger the blood sugar spikes that damage small blood vessels over time. Together, ginger and raw honey form a second ingredient that is greater than either part alone. One clears and protects the vessels, the other preserves the circulatory signals keeping them open. For the best results, use fresh ginger rather than powder. Fresh is richer in the volatile oils that deliver that immediate warming circulation boost. Grate about a teaspoon of fresh ginger root and blend it directly with the watermelon juice, or steep it in warm water for 5 minutes and strain it in. For the honey, 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey is all you need. Look for something labeled raw or unprocessed, not the standard clear supermarket variety, which has been heated and stripped of most of its active enzymes. The combination of sweet watermelon, warming ginger, and the subtle depth of raw honey creates something that genuinely tastes like a drink from a high-end juice bar. A small squeeze of fresh lime brightens the whole thing even further. Most men can't believe something this easy and this enjoyable is doing what it's doing for their circulation. Here's the complete picture of what this morning shot is doing for your body every single day. Watermelon juice delivers citrulline, the raw material that restocks your endothelium's nitric oxide production line. Your body converts it to arginine. Arginine fuels the production of nitric oxide, and your blood vessels receive the relaxation signal they have been missing. The ginger and honey blend reduces blood viscosity and arterial inflammation simultaneously, keeping blood flowing freely through the widened vessels, protecting the walls from ongoing damage, and preserving the nitric oxide being produced from oxidative destruction. The thermogenic effect adds a third independent mechanism on top, redistributing circulation in a way nothing else in this shot replicates. One ingredient increases the signal. The other keeps the traffic moving and protects the entire system. 2 ingredients, 1 complete approach to circulation. To prepare, blend 300 to 400 milliliters of fresh watermelon, including a small amount of the white rind. Grate 1 teaspoon of fresh ginger directly in or add strained ginger water. Stir in 1 teaspoon of raw, unfiltered honey. Squeeze of fresh lime if you like. Blend briefly and drink first thing in the morning before food, under 2 minutes, every morning. The immediate effects on blood flow begin within a couple of hours. The deeper changes, restored arterial elasticity, better intimate function, steadier energy throughout the day, build progressively over weeks of daily use. And here's what I want you to hold on to. The men who feel the most profound change aren't the ones waiting for the perfect moment to start. They're the ones who made this a non-negotiable part of their morning and simply showed up every day. Your body is more capable of responding and recovering than most men over 50 have been led to believe. Give it the right inputs consistently, and it will remind you of that. Before we wrap up, I want to share something a lot of my viewers ask me: what natural supplements actually deliver results for men's health? After looking at the research and testing what really works, I've narrowed it down to 4 essentials. 1 for stronger erections, 1 for stamina and performance, 1 for testosterone balance, and 1 for prostate comfort. These are all natural formulas backed by science, carefully selected to work together for maximum results. I've linked them below in the description and pinned comment. Check them out and see how they can help you feel your absolute best. And remember, this channel is a safe space where men support each other. Share your thoughts below. Let us know your age and where you're from. As men age, this isn't the end, it's a new beginning. I'm Dr. Aria Brooks, and I'll see you in the next video.